Well, I said there was a lot of news today. Let's talk about what JD Burke said on Twitter that got all of Canucks Nation up in a storm. I'm hearing from a source that the Canucks are actively trying to move up in the draft. Most likely destination is the Detroit Red Wings pick at number 6 overall. Now, there are a few layers to this. First off, what are we going to give up? Second off, why are we doing this? Third off, let's talk about the team that we're going to trade to if this happens. Let's talk about the first off, what are we giving up? Obviously, if we're going to move up, we're trading the 10th overall pick. And if it's going to be going to Detroit, that's a team that could probably use a little bit more help on defense, or in net, to be honest. Because taking a look at Detroit and their defensive prospects, they've got guys like Chalowski, they got Hronek, Vili Sarajarvi, and a few other guys too. And I think that might be one of their weaker points, and if you compare it to their forward core, they've got some really good young forwards that I really like. Obviously, Dylan Larkin is there. Then you got guys like Joe Veleno, who you just drafted, Filip Zadina, who's there. And then even the free agents that they got. Taro Hirose is looking really good too. So combine that all with guys like Jonathan Berggren and some of the guys that they already have, like Anthony Mantha and Athanasiou, you have yourself a really nice forward core going forward. And I didn't even talk about Rasmussen either. So, taking a look at that, I like their forward core. I don't think the Canucks would need to sacrifice anything on their forward depth chart if they wanted to make a moving up trade with Detroit. Now, I said the defense does need a little bit of work, and the goaltending, I think they could probably use some other goaltenders too. They have a lot of drafted goaltenders and a lot of guys in the system. Jesper Eliasson, Keith Petruzzelli, a few other guys too. But right now, they're going with a tandem of Howard and Bernier, which isn't necessarily something that I would understand is suitable going forward into the long term. So if the Vancouver Canucks needed to throw in a guy like Michael DiPietro, I guess, honestly, I can understand why. And if the Vancouver Canucks are willing to depart with a guy like DiPietro, I could realistically see him being a part of this discussion. But that's just a quick little thing on what it would take. Second off, let's go into why the Vancouver Canucks would trade up with Detroit. Well, we all know that there are a few players that the Vancouver Canucks really like that are available towards the top part of the draft. Bowen Byram comes to mind, Jack Hughes, Capo Caco, of course. But the common consensus on Twitter that I saw is Trevor Zegras. Because Trevor Zegras is a guy that he was rumored to be coming to Vancouver for extended interviews. Jim Benning apparently really likes Zegras, which is understandable. He's a center, he can play left wing, he's a very good playmaker, arguably the top playmaker of this draft. And yeah, that includes Jack Hughes. So obviously that's amazing praise. Zegras is a guy that's touted to go somewhere in the top 7, top 6-ish, but I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped down to 10 or 11. So if Jim Benning is going to sit here and say, okay, we want Zegras, we also kind of want Byram too, but I don't believe Byram is going to be there at 6. There's some rumors out there that Chicago is taking Turcotte, and the team at number 4, Colorado, I've heard some things that they really want a center. So if Byram does drop, I believe the max that he's going down to is LA at number 5. I don't see Los Angeles passing up on Bowen Byram. So if Jim Benning is trying to target number 6 with Detroit with Bowen Byram in mind, I think that's a little bit of a lost cause. However, if it does happen, if it does go that way, we trade up to 6 and Byram falls to 6 and we take Byram, that's amazing. Filip Zadina dropped last year, Quinn Hughes dropped last year, anything can happen. But we have to take a look at it just from a realistic point of view. I believe Zegras is the guy here, because we did talk about it earlier. Newhook, Krebs, and Zegras. These are the 3 extended interviews that are rumored to being with the Vancouver Canucks, and they all really like these players. So if Zegras is the guy that we want, the guy that the Vancouver Canucks really think they need in their system, then trade up. Trade up to get him, because there's no guarantee that he's going to be there. And, just like with Quinn Hughes last year, we could sit and wait and eventually see somebody fall into our laps. But if we really want Zegras and we want to trade up, then okay. As for the third option, if Detroit really, really wants to do this, and I've seen some things saying that Detroit wants a defenseman, which is very fair to understand because last year they did go ham with Zadina and Veleno. If Detroit wants a defenseman, then they really don't have one at 6. The best available defenseman to take at number 6, I believe, is Victor Soderstrom, but he's not going top 6. I'll tell you that right now. If they wanted to take a risk on defense at number 6, they would go with Philip Broberg. But Broberg is not a guy who I would say is a top 6 talent. Sure, in terms of ceiling and potential, yeah, but in terms of safety, heck no. Especially with the 6th overall pick, you have to be sure that you hit, because you can't be missing on your 6th overall picks. Oh man, we did that with Virtanen. But, it's just how it goes. Detroit is not going to draft a defenseman with 6th overall, so if they want to trade down to 10, take Victor Soderstrom at 10. It's a bit of a reach, but hey, it's better than taking him at 6, plus you get the assets back, like maybe a Tanev or whatever, or a DiPietro, or whatever you want. It makes sense from a Detroit point of view, but obviously we don't know the certainty behind this. JD Burke is just spitting out there. He's saying that his sources say this, and there's no real incentive to believe that Detroit is going out there saying, oh yeah, Vancouver, yeah, take our pick. We'll take yours and just give us something else. So overall, I believe it's a very interesting discussion to be had. If the Vancouver Canucks really want Trevor Zegras, then hey, move up. That's cool. We haven't really seen that in a while, but honestly, I'm just looking forward to it. If we do end up trading up and we take Zegras with the 6th overall pick in Vancouver, I don't know about you, but I kind of like it. I kind of do. Hope you enjoyed this video, Social 99, and bye.